morning, everyone. Happy early 50 Day to 50 conversation. Had to push it forward an hour because we're flying out of the country today. So I'm really happy to bring my friend on. And I was super sad because I know somewhere in my world exists a picture of this woman and me on my 18th birthday, but I could not find it anywhere. So that is why you are not seeing any of it, but you're about to see her. So let me bring my long time friend, Angie Schulz, to the screen. Hello, Angie.
Hi, Dana. I should have looked for that picture. I think I have a picture of that too. Like truth. I mean, I would run down. I think I had it in a frame that I took with me to college. Like, you know, that you had those little, like, I had a little, frame that I
like those collage kind of things. Yes.
Yeah. So I think I had that. I think that picture was on my desk.
Yeah. You, me, and Jenny Brzee sitting on my bed. We'd been to the Olive Garden and we had a sleepover at my house. And yeah, it was a really lovely 18th birthday, actually.
Oh,
it feels like both 100 years ago and 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So you were one of my dear friends when I moved to Moorhead. You're a grade ahead of me, but you're not so much older than I am. You haven't been 50 for a super long time either.
No, just a few months.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking. So these questions will be, taken with a little grain of salt since you don't have a lot of water under your 50 years. But let's jump in, Angie, and start with the first question, which is, what are one or two things that you knew before you turned 50 that have served you well in these last few months of being 50?
That's, I think just having, we have such a youth obsessed society, but I think coming into being 50 with just being grateful for myself and being grateful for who I am that is something I knew before and kind of worked on. And so turning 50 was not a fearful thing for me at all. It's just been a great thing. And so coming in with that has been probably the most important thing. Yes.
Yeah, I would agree. I think often of our mutual friend, Matt Thibodeau, who died at 36 or 37. And I think, Matt would love to be complaining about getting older because he would complain royally. And wouldn't he love every second of it? There is a gift to aging that you're denied if you don't get to do it. So two options. This is the one to pick if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I love that answer because you're right. Youth obsessed is probably an understatement, but for sure, this notion of, well, now you're invisible and now you're irrelevant and nobody cares about your skill set because what they really care about is these wrinkles and these and, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I will say that I feel like 2+ years, almost 3 years on Zoom, we've all had to get pretty comfortable with what we look like because, man, are we looking at ourselves a lot these days.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, next question. What do you know now that you wish you could go back and tell your younger self, wherever you want to put yourself on that continuum?
I wish that I could just tell myself like it's going to be okay. Like that whatever kind of, I think I spent a lot of time, which we all do as a young person, like thinking I'm going to find the thing that is it for me, that's going to carry me through my whole life. And so like thinking of that, I wish that I could go back to myself and say, you know what, it's okay to just work right now or just do stuff to make money. It doesn't have to be like your life's purpose, because that could just, maybe you will have your life's purpose in your work or maybe you won't, but it just, that's okay. Anyway.
Ange, do you feel like with the work that you do, and I'd love you to explain it because I think it's probably a big piece of why you have the perspective you have, but do you feel like you have found your life's work with your current work?
Yes, I feel it's funny because I just listened to another podcast today about my work, and I was like, I just connected so deeply with it, and part of it, is the I love learning about people, and that I think that's what I liked about that's what I still like about acting and theater is it's a spotlight on humanity, and whether it lifts it up or exaggerates or whatever it is, it is. And so the work that I do with end of life and at the funeral home is that as well. It's a moment of learning about people and learning about their stories. And so I do feel really, and also just having like oh my gosh, I have a landline. I can't believe my landline.
That might be the last landline in America, Angie.
It's because of my grandma, because my grandma's 96.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's just funny.
We're like the last people who aren't over 80 to have a landline. Anyway, so I will just ignore it.
Here's what we're gonna do. Hold your thought, and I'm gonna put up these comments. Andrew Burns, two of my favorite people. Thank you, Andrew Burns. And JC Chrisman, another great guest. Good morning, Angie and Dana. Good morning.
Oh, that's so nice.
Super fun to have both of you on. Thank you for that. Okay. Oh my gosh, and you have an answering machine. This is the greatest thing ever.
And it's like my daughter, Sarah, who's like 23, who doesn't live at home anymore. It's her voice when she's like 8. So she's like, hi. It's just, anyway.
It's too cute to go over. And besides, who else besides your grandma calls you? Probably nobody.
Exactly. Nobody. Actually, nobody. So.
Okay.
Anyway. So
you do this end of life work.
Yeah.
And it's giving you this slice into humanity.
Yes. Yeah. I really and truly, I can't believe that I get to do it. Like that's where I just think I know that I'm doing my life's work where every day when I'm there, I just feel so honored. Like I feel a deep sense of honor and privilege to be part of that. So that is like, but I don't think I could have done this work when I was 25. Like it's one of those things that's like, well, this is something that I've like come to. And I think part of how I got into it was just a curiosity about it. Like I sang for a lot of funerals, and then I always like listened to the eulogies, which I'd sit there and be like, oh, it's interesting. Like, oh, these stories and families telling these stories. I'm like, I'm like a singer for a funeral who doesn't know the family, who like actually really enjoys listening to people reminisce and tell stories about their family.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I always say that I know 3 people in my life who I think were gifted with the ability to walk into often the hardest place for anyone, which is at someone's deathbed or at a funeral. And it's my mom and you and Nicole Fenstead.
Oh my gosh.
Because like I'm a mess. I could go to an utter stranger's funeral and the family would have to console me. I have this. I worked with an energy specialist once who actually made me feel a lot better about it. She said to me that my energy field is so massive that I absorb the energy of everyone around me and I feel it magnified. And so it's not surprising that I can be in a space with people I have no connection to and feel an unbelievable emotional response.
Oh, I see that right with you for sure. Yes.
So I'm a mess around like sick children. We used to go to carolers. We'd sing at that sick kids hospital ward. Yeah. I was a complete useless person in those events. And I remember looking over at you, just sort of beatifically singing sweet stuff and thinking, how is she doing this? I'm just, it's such a gift.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a very rare, specific gift. And thank goodness you have found a place where you get to utilize it, because the people who receive it from you need it desperately.
Yeah. I feel I'm so honored to be in that company of your mom and Nicole. Just amazing. Is that your mom playing piano, by the way, in the beginning?
No, it's Quinn.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, that's an utter lie. That's an utter and complete lie. I use Quinn's music all the time. No, this is just a little deal I found online.
Oh, okay. It's adorable, but your mom would totally play that. I was just.
Yeah, she could totally play that. And I should have used her, but I didn't. Yeah. So I really love that you have found this work, because it's just so clear that you have an ability to be present and to not fall into the despair with them, which is so valuable. Again, it's not useful to have to console a stranger. So
well, it comes out like I realize that I need to have times where I can like let it out. And I went to and music always does it to me. So I went to the Concordia Christmas concert. I was a disaster. Like I just couldn't even do anything. I was just crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I think I'm taking this on, but it's good to have that. Like, I know that it was cathartic. And then I went to the symphony, the Christmas pops thing last weekend for the symphony was so great. And I was just, just a little messy. It was just a little, little wet.
I've just given up even explaining why I look like I've been hit by a Mack truck at the end of many art events. It's just, people have sort of just expected it. In fact, if my makeup's not off my face, people are like, oh, wasn't a great picture. So whatever. I've stopped apologizing for it.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. And tell me some of the most joyful things that you have experienced in these months of being 50.
Oh, Brian and I are newly empty nesters, my husband, Brian and I. And so our last two kids, and I think COVID extended our house because we had kids at home longer, but our youngest daughter just went to college, and we've just really enjoyed. I feel like it's like a newlywed time almost. Like
it's the best, isn't it?
Yeah,
I really love it too.
It's like we can. I don't know. It's not even that we're doing so much like romantic stuff or whatever. It's just like I just have really enjoyed that part of being an empty nester. It's just been a joyful time for us for sure. And watching our kids do things that are great too. It's sort of like the thing of like either you grow old or you die, or your kids go on and do things which you want them to do and live their lives, or something's happened for them that they can't. And so whatever that is, you want to support your kids through whatever it would be, but it's wonderful when they're doing things they love and are off, so that's good.
When they have launched successfully, it's bittersweet because you're right. You don't want them in your basement. There are so many parents who are visiting their children in jail or rehab or the hospital, or they're buying diapers for their 17-year-old's baby. Or, I mean, there are far, far worse things than your child successfully graduating from high school and launching. But it's also hard because part of why they're successful is because you've really invested in them. Right. And then suddenly they're like, okay, scoot along now. I'm ready to go. And you're not necessarily ready for them to go.
Yeah. And you like them. Then you're not like when they're adults, it's like, oh, I like this adult that's hanging out with me, and oh, they're fun. And I don't have to like discipline them or worry about the things they're doing. Like, it's like, oh, it's great.
I also don't have to shop for them.
Right. No,
it's just kind of lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, Ange, what are you doing for Christmas?
We're going to be here, and because I direct a little choir at my church and they sing. And so then we'll be with my grandma and my folks. And then and my daughter and her husband are coming from Minneapolis for a day. And then we'll probably head to Western North Dakota. And so yeah, it'll be good. Yes.
Well, tell your whole crew, particularly your parents, I said Merry Christmas to them. I really adore your parents. It's been fun to sort of the same way, kind of get to know them as adults. Out of the purview of this is my friend Angie's mom and dad. And that's been really, really lovely. All right, Andy, Andy. I just called you Andy, Andrew Burns. I meant to say Angie, and it came out as Andy. Believe me, you are not an Andy, in case anyone's wondering. And Bruce says landline, old school, not wrong. Totally. Andy says, I don't have kids, but really appreciate these insights about newly empty nesting. Congratulations to both of you for raising awesome kids. Thank you, sir. It does, lots of people are not as lucky as we are. So I think you just have to count your blessings where you can and look around and pick up the pieces of other people where you can and when you can, because lots of people need lots of help. And if you've got it to give, go ahead and do it. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. I loved this quick catch up with you, Angie. Thanks so much for joining me and for celebrating 18 and 50 with me.
Yes. Happy holidays and travel safe. And say hi to your family too.
I will do that. And everyone else, it's a pre-record tomorrow and a pre-record on Monday. I'll be back live on Tuesday, but everything will go back to 11 a.m. starting tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
Have an excellent day. Bye, Ange.
Bye.